The moment her arms wrapped around my neck and she whispered those 3 words against my ear, I felt my whole world settle back into place. And then, over her shoulder, I watched a stranger in a maroon suit reach down, lift her suitcase without asking, and roll it away like he had done it 100 times before. My heart, which had been full just seconds earlier, turned to stone in my chest. If you believe in stories about humanity, about the pain of misunderstanding, and about second chances that arrive when we least expect them, do me a favor before you go any further. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, share this with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to Humanity Tales so you never miss a story like this one. Now, let's go back to where it all began. My name is Daniel, and 18 months ago I took a job on an offshore engineering project that would keep me away from home for months at a time. My wife, Elena, had never once complained. She kissed me goodbye at that same airport a year and a half earlier with tears in her eyes and a promise on her lips that she would wait, that distance meant nothing to 2 people who truly loved each other, that we would build the life we dreamed of the moment I came home for good. I believed her with every fiber of my being. I had to. Belief was the only thing that got me through those long nights on the rig, staring at the ceiling of a cramped cabin, counting down the days until I could hold her again. We talked every chance we got. Grainy video calls at odd hours, voice notes sent across time zones, good morning texts that arrived when it was already night where I was. Elena always seemed the same, warm, funny, endlessly patient with my exhaustion and my bad moods after 18-hour shifts. She would tell me about her days, about her new job at a shipping and logistics firm downtown, about a demanding boss who worked her ragged but paid well enough that she could finally start saving for the house we always talked about. I was proud of her. I told her so every single day. Distance is supposed to test love, and for a long time, I was certain ours had passed every test thrown at it. But somewhere around the 10th month, something in her voice began to change. It was subtle at first, a pause before she answered a simple question, a laugh that came half a second too late, a habit of mentioning a coworker named Marco more often than felt necessary. I told myself I was imagining things. Loneliness does strange things to a man's mind, and I did not want to become the kind of husband who poisoned a good marriage with baseless suspicion. So I said nothing. I buried the doubt the way I buried everything else out there on the water. Under work, under exhaustion, under the simple hope that if I just kept believing, everything would stay exactly as it was. Then came the day my contract finally ended. I remember standing on the deck of that rig for the last time, staring out at a horizon I had memorized every detail of, and feeling something I hadn't felt in over a year, the pure, uncomplicated joy of going home. I called Elena the moment I landed at the layover airport, and I could hear the excitement crack through her voice, could hear her already crying happy tears 3,000 miles away. She promised she would be waiting for me at the gate. I did not sleep on that final flight. I rehearsed the moment in my head 1,000 times, the hug, the way I would lift her off her feet, the small velvet box I had tucked into my carry-on, the one holding the ring I had bought during a rare shore leave in a small coastal town, the one I planned to slide onto her finger the second we stepped outside the terminal. I had it all planned out. I thought I knew exactly how this story would go. When I walked through those sliding doors and saw her running toward me, dark hair flying, tears already streaming down her face, every doubt I had carried across that ocean evaporated in an instant. She threw her arms around my neck, buried her face in my shoulder, and said the words I had been dying to hear for 18 months. I missed you. I held her so tightly I was afraid I might break her, breathing her in, feeling the shape of home return to my arms after so long without it. And then I opened my eyes over her shoulder, and I saw him. He was tall, sharply dressed in a maroon suit that looked like it cost more than my last 3 paychecks combined, with the kind of confident, easy posture of a man who was used to being noticed. He walked straight up to Elena's suitcase, the one sitting beside her feet, and without a single word exchanged between them, he took the handle and began wheeling it away toward the parking garage, as though it were the most natural thing in the world. My stomach dropped. My arms went cold around her. Every fear I had buried for the last 8 months came rushing back at once, and for one terrible, silent moment, I could not speak. Elena must have felt my body go rigid, because she pulled back to look at my face, and whatever she saw there made her own expression shift from joy to confusion. I asked her, as calmly as I could manage with my heart hammering against my ribs, who that man was and why he had just walked off with her bag. I watched her eyes widen, watched her turn to look where I was looking, and then, to my complete confusion, she started to laugh. Not a nervous laugh. A real one, the kind that comes from somewhere deep and genuine, the kind I had missed hearing more than almost anything else in the world. She took my hand and told me to walk with her, and as we crossed the terminal toward the parking garage, she finally explained. That man was Marco, the coworker I had heard about 100 times over the phone, the one whose name had quietly planted seeds of doubt in me from thousands of miles away. But Marco was not what my exhausted, lonely imagination had built him into. Marco was Elena's supervisor's husband, a man who ran a small airport concierge service on the side, helping frequent travelers move through the terminal quickly. Elena had hired his service months ago, not for romance, not for secrecy, but because she had been working brutal overtime hours trying to save enough money for a down payment on our future house, and she simply did not have the energy left at the end of long shifts to wrestle a suitcase through a crowded airport alone. It was Marco who had been quietly, professionally, unremarkably helping her with logistics, nothing more, nothing less. The late-night mentions of his name that had planted such quiet dread in me were nothing but the ordinary details of an ordinary work friendship, magnified into something monstrous by distance, silence, and my own fear of losing her. Elena stopped walking and turned to face me fully. And I saw something in her expression that broke my heart open even further. She wasn't angry that I had doubted her. She understood. She told me she had felt the same fear more times than she could count, staring at her phone at 3 in the morning, wondering if the silence on my end of an unanswered call meant something had changed in me too. Distance, she said, does not just test love. It tests trust, and trust is a muscle that has to be exercised even when there is no one standing in front of you to reassure it. We had both been fighting the same invisible battle in different corners of the world, and neither of us had said a word about it until this very moment. Right there in the middle of that crowded terminal, surrounded by strangers rushing to catch flights and families reuniting just like us, I got down on one knee. I did not care who was watching. I pulled the velvet box from my carry-on, and I told Elena that the last 18 months had taught me more about what I truly wanted than any calm, easy year ever could have, that even 8 months of silent, aching doubt had not been enough to shake what I felt for her, and that I never wanted to spend another day wondering instead of simply asking. I asked her to marry me, right there, bags still waiting to be collected, flights still boarding all around us. She said yes before I had even finished the sentence, and the small crowd that had gathered around us broke into applause loud enough to draw looks from the airport staff. Marco, it turned out, had circled back with the suitcase just in time to see the whole thing, and he was the first to shake my hand and congratulate me, laughing about how he never expected to become the accidental villain of someone else's love story. We still laugh about it now, months later, whenever the story comes up at dinner with friends. It has become our favorite reminder that fear, left unspoken, can build entire false worlds inside our minds, and that the truth, however simple, is almost always kinder than the story our anxious hearts invent in the dark. If this story touched something in you, if it reminded you of your own fears, your own distance, your own moment of doubt that turned out to be nothing at all, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and share it with someone who might need this reminder today. Your support means the world to this channel and helps these stories of humanity and second chances reach more hearts around the world. And before you go, I have one small, special request. Comment the word trust below if you believe that love, given enough honesty and patience, can survive even the longest distances. I read every single one and I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next story.